This presentation is going to deal with a couple of types of unit conversions that are really important to be able to do in chemistry, and we're going to handle two types of conversions. The first type is what I'm going to call a one-step conversion, and one-step conversions are simply that they occur in one step. So the key is to figure out what is going to be this conversion that allows us to do this in one shot. For example, let's convert 1.51 kilograms into the unit of some number of grams. And so the important thing to realize is, first of all, what is this conversion that is necessary, needed for us to go from the unit of kilograms to grams? Whenever I do these kind of problems, I always like to sort of plan it out and figure out what it is I'm starting with and where I'm going to end up. And in the end, I'm ultimately going to end up with a unit of grams. That's the important thing to remember here. And so to do this, I have to figure out which one of what unit I need to use to do this. And the conversion that I'm going to have to use is the relationship between a kilogram and a gram. Now, what I always like to do is start with the understanding of what's the bigger unit. Well, the bigger unit between the two of these two is the kilogram, and the one that you have that's the bigger is the one that you always have one of. So for every 1 kilogram, how many grams are there? Well, that's 1,000 grams. Now, in order for me to solve this problem of going from kilograms to grams, how am I going to use this conversion? This is a very important conversion for us right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 1.51 kilograms and use this conversion in some way to end up with the unit of grams. Now, which way do I need to have this? What unit do I need to have ultimately at the end of this problem? And ultimately what I want is this unit of grams. And so when I go through this problem and I use this conversion, the unit of grams is what I want. In this particular case, I want them on top. And so I'm going to take that unit in this conversion of 1,000 grams and put it on top. Well, if I put the unit of 1,000 grams on top, the unit of kilograms has got to go on the bottom. And when I have the unit like this, please note that the unit of kilograms cancels out, leaving me with the unit of grams, which is exactly what I want. And then I go through the calculation of 1.51 kilograms multiplied by 1,000 gives me 1,510 grams as my answer. And this is a one-step process, and we call it a one-step process because you do it in one step. Now, when you have a multi-step process, maybe it takes 2 or 3 steps to do it, how do you go about doing that? And to do that, let's illustrate with this problem. Let's start with 0.0036 kilometers, and we're going to convert that to centimeters. Now, perhaps we know that direct conversion from kilometers to centimeters, and that would be great. If that's the case, we could handle that in a one-step type of process. But in a multi-step process, sometimes we have to do it this way just because we don't know the direct conversion. So what we have to realize is what it is that both of these units of kilometer and centimeter have in common, and that unit in between is the meter. So if we could first figure out how to go from kilometers to meters, that takes us halfway, and we can take it one more step to get it to centimeters. So it seems that we need to know what these relationships are then. Well, like as we did before, what's the relationship between a kilometer and a meter? The unit relationship, well, what's the bigger of the two? The kilometer. So for every 1 kilometer, I have 1,000 meters. And the relationship for meters to centimeters, again, what's the bigger of the two units? The bigger unit is going to be the meter. And how many centimeters do I have in that? Centi means 100, so there's 100 centimeters. So I have my two conversions that I need for this problem. So I'm starting off again with 0.0036 kilometers, and I know that it's going to take me 2 steps to do it. And in the end, I hope to get the unit of centimeters. Now, the first step is going to be going from kilometers to meters, and so we need this relationship right here. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to meters. So which way do I use? How do I use this conversion? Well, in this case, if to get to meters, I need to have that meters up on top. And notice the unit of kilometers on the bottom cancels out, leaving me with the unit of meters, which gets me to the halfway point. And now it's time to do the second part of this calculation to get to centimeters. Now in that case, we're going to use this part right here, this conversion. Now which way do I need to use this in order for me to get to the answer? Well, again, I want the unit of centimeters. So I'm going to have to use 100 centimeters up on top, 1 meter on the bottom, and again, notice as before, the unit of meter cancels. It leaves me with 100 centimeters on top. And so in this case, it's asking me then to take 0.0036 times 1,000, and then that times 100 equals, according to my calculations, 360 centimeters. 2 steps to a conversion. Thank you, and there you go. Have a good time with that.